Let's do another example with this 2019 revenues data with the cities from Riverside County. But this time, let's sample 4 of the cities using systematic sampling. Okay? So the first thing we need to do is identify our sampling interval K. All right? So K, remember, is big N over little n, where big N is our population size and little n is our sample size. So we just said that we want a sample size of 4. Okay? We want 4 cities in our sample. We do need to identify what big N is. How big is the population? So let's take a look at the spreadsheet here. Okay? We could see that the last city in the spreadsheet is 29. Okay? But we have to be careful. That's not actually our population size. If we go up, remember that first row is the header row. There's actually no data in that row. There's no city in that row. So we don't have 29 cities. We have 28 because we have to subtract that one row because it doesn't actually contain data. So we have, oops, use the right color here, 29 cities. So we need to do 29 divided by 4. Okay. We can pull out the calculator for that one. So 29 divided by 4 is, that's 7.25. So that's going to be the size of our sampling interval. But remember, we have to round it to the nearest whole number. I can't find the next 0.25 city in the list, right? I can find 1 city over or 2 cities over, but not 7.25 cities over. So we need to round it. So our true sampling interval, in this case, 7.25 is closer to 7 than it is to 8. So if we round it, we get 7. That's going to be our sampling interval. So we want every 7th city. Okay? Now, once we have our sampling interval, we need to decide where we're starting. Okay? Remember, we're going to start with one of the first 7 cities, since our sampling interval is 7. Okay, so what does that mean here? Well, our first city is not on row 1, it's on row 2. So if I use that sample function to choose one of my first 7 cities, I want to choose starting on row 2. Okay? And then I want to choose one of the first 7. So one of the first 7 would be either on row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6, row 7, or row 8. Because we're not starting on number 1, we're starting on number 2. So if you count these, there are actually 7 here. So I want one of these 7 as my starting point. So I'm going to start somewhere from between 2 and 8. And since this is just my starting point, I only need to choose one of them. I only need to randomly sample one of these. Okay? So evaluate. I chose 6, right? The computer randomly chose city 6 as my starting point. So I start with city 6, Canyon Lake, and then I'm going to use my sampling interval, which was 7, and I'll choose every 7th city thereafter. So 6, and then 6 plus 7 is 13, and then 13 plus 7 is 20, Murrieta. 20 plus 7 is San Jacinto. And after that, I can't go another 7, so I'm done. If you count back those cities, Canyon Lake, Indian Wells, Murrieta, San Jacinto, those are 4 cities, which is the sample size we wanted. So those 4 cities are going to be in our sample. Okay?